After last week's Tier 2 race, which saw Josh win the race on track, but after the post-race penalties, Fusion managed to get his track limit penalties taken away, which meant Fusion ended up winning last week's Spanish Grand Prix, which sees him extend the championship lead with it as well. But the Tier 2 circus now comes to the streets of Singapore. This is RPL Tier 2, Season 18, Round 6. We are, like we said, in Singapore for the Singapore Grand Prix. I am your commentator, BNick714. This should be a very enjoyable watch. After the cinematic masterpiece that was last week's Tier 1 race at this track, I'm very excited to see what the Tier 2 guys will bring to the table. Few drivers, of course, didn't show up today, a few of the bigger names, but also we have some returning faces here in Tier 2. We'll load into the qualifying session momentarily. Short 18-minute session, followed by a 31-lap showdown to decide the winner of this race. But as we load in, we can give ourselves a little look at the Drivers' Championship, and looking dry out there. I'm sure that'll make a lot of the drivers happy indeed for a dry qualifying session. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Fusion leads by 28 points over Mintoki, who isn't here today. So Fusion has a huge opportunity to gain some big points on his title rival. Third place is Lennon, 41 points back. He is back in the field after not racing last week when Josh filled in for him. Or was it Josh? I don't know. Someone filled in for him, though. Lucas Rasmussen is down in 6th place. You got Josh in 5th. Maxwell in the McLaren still only 4th in points. We'll see if he can move his way up the order. First couple cars coming out onto the track. First is Josh 433 for Ferrari. He'll be the first one onto the track. And we now have the track is now hot, and it's time to go for qualifying as we watch Josh set off into the first sector. The Fusion, of course, holding a 28-point lead in the championship. He could extend that greatly here. But in the grand scheme of the Constructors' Championship, McLaren hold a full one-race lead over Ferrari. 44 points between the top two. Mercedes only 5 points behind, Ferrari in third. Red Bull all by themselves, 4th in the championship as well, with only one podium to their name at the halfway mark of this season. So we'll see if the Red Bull duo of Torn Penguin and Wilson can get themselves on the podium, which I'm sure they would very much enjoy. And the midfield fight is looking very scrappy. It's a tie for 5th place between Racing Bulls and Aston Martin on 14 points, and only 4 points behind them is Williams, who sit on 10 points. So, a lot to play for in the midfield, especially at this stage of the championship. McLaren running away with things, though, up front. Towards the back, Alpine, Haas, and Sauber all battling for that P8 spot. Sauber have only scored 2 points, but Josh will get us going for the first lap of qualifying. 4th gear, flicking the car in. Ooh, a bit of a missed apex there in turn 3. Couldn't get it all the way down to the bottom of that track. Using a bit of overtake. 4th gear here. I think that's turn 4. DRS activated for the longest straight on this track. Might be the longest straight. I don't know, the Sector 3 straight might actually be longer now, but he'll make his way through the very tight, very technical middle sector that is covered in Louis Vuitton advertisements and now Qatar Airways advertisements as he goes through the old Singapore sling. 4th gear, Keep it to the left-hand side. Flick the car into the right-hand side. Oh, he lost the back end. Coming through there. That's where the DRS detection is. Torn Penguin retires. Of course, he's serving a quali ban today, so that is intentional. Look at the McLaren losing the back end behind in the background shot. But Josh now coming through the third sector. DRS activated. This zone is longer than it was last game cycle. This DRS zone wasn't as long as it is. Through, I believe that's 18 and 19. And then the final two corners here. Very fast double left-hander. No more ERS. And it's a 27-9 by Josh 433. And Maxwell goes a 10th quicker on a 27-8. We'll now have a look at Lennon here. He's going to be one of the next cars to cross the line. Let's see what he is able to do here through the double left-handers. The final two corners on this track. What can Lennon do? It's a 28-9, a second away from his teammate. Coming up next is Dylan. He's going back to Tier 3 next season. I believe for McLaren, and he's invalidated at the very end. He was on a 29-0. But it's nothing going for him. Alan J goes faster than Lennon on a 28.5. Here comes Jack MS, 29.1 for him. Let's have a look at Fusion, the championship leader, coming through the final two corners. He keeps it valid, and he's done a 27.8, just 100th away from his teammate. Matty up next. He is starting a lap. Let's go have a look at Lucas Rasmussen finishing a lap. Deployment used through the final two corners. He'll keep it valid, and he'll cross the line on a 28.6 that puts him behind Alan J. We'll have a quick look at Jack Miles then, as he's coming through the second sector split into the third sector, the long DRS zone. Could potentially see some overtakes at this part of the track come the race. But we'll see what Jack's able to do. Through the final two corners and across the line, Jack Miles goes just a little bit behind Lennon. Now let's have a look at this man right here, JTK. Well, we were going to have a look at his lap, but he's lost half of his wing. We're welcoming him back to RPL again. He's had a bit of a busy life for his own, and he hasn't been able to make times, but he is back in the second tier. Last time I saw him, he almost won his first Tier 1 race, which was in Abu Dhabi, the final Tier 1 race of last game's cycle. He'll come to the pits this time, though, to get that wing damage repaired. Cryptic's invalidated, Dylan's invalidated, and I don't think any other cars are on laps right now. I don't think so. Nobody really on runs. We'll have a look at Cryptic. Of course, he is already invalidated, but it looks like still running medium deployment on the ERS. And Dylan's in the pits. Jack Miles is out there. He is not on a lap as well. We'll see pretty much everybody in the pits. But let's have a look at Wilson. He's just starting a lap of his own right here, as he comes through turns 1, 2, and 3. Keeps it neat, keeps it tidy. On his way to turn 4 now. Actually, technically, this is turn 5. That really small kink on that mini straight counts as a corner, so this will be turn 6 right here. Fast kink, not really a corner that you'd be thinking about. Into turn 7. Lost the back end ever so slightly, did Wilson. Last season's Tier 3 champion. Making his way towards the Singapore sling of turn 10. Gets very close to that wall. That is a place to look out for. Really, no Tier 1 drivers hit that wall that juts out in the Singapore sling. Nobody hit it last week, but as this is Tier 2, you can never count out the potential of somebody grazing that wall. But into turn 14 goes Wilson. This has been a tidy lap, but you can't do that. That will invalidate your lap. That little extra bit of tarmac is outside track limits, according to the game. And unfortunately, Wilson did not know that, and it's going to cause him to invalidate the lap and have to back off. Cryptic, not really on a lap right now, but we have a lot of cars on out laps. And a yellow flag on the main straight. I believe that is a Mercedes exiting the pits. That is Lucas Rasmussen. Ferrari has just started one of their laps. That is Josh 433. Trying to continue his fantastic run that he's had over the last few rounds. Through turn 5. There goes Josh. Using all of the overtake here on this DRS straight. And he has found a 10th here in Sector 1. Purple in the first. Let's see if he can find even more time. Going through a part of the track where the Ferrari most likely struggles here. This middle sector really doesn't suit this car. But he's making it look good through this middle sector. But he's got a lot of traffic. He's got it looks like so Williams ahead of him, and he's got a Mercedes and an Alpine as well to contend with. Hopefully they get out of the way. The Williams does get out of the way. And he'll catch the smallest bit of toe off that Mercedes to the second sector split. He's lost a little bit of time. He's 300ths up still, but he's lost a little bit from his first sector. On the way down, the final DRS straight, and then heavy braking, a third gear corner here, through 16 and 17, and then 18 and 19, the final two corners, pretty much flat out, the slightest bit of lift through the very end, and he's found pretty much no time. Improves time, but not position. We got Rasmussen, I believe, Lucas Rasmussen has just started a lap. We got one of McLaren's finishing one up. It's Maxwell, and he's found a 10th. Maxwell to the top of the board. Let's see if his teammate Fusion can find some time. He has. Purple, second sector for him. He's 900ths up. Barely keeps it valid through there. And that tricky little bit of tarmac that juts out at you. Using all of the track. Entering turns 16 and 17. For 18 and 19 now. JTK improved up to P7. Finally got a lap in. And Lero Fusion finds some time. Almost 2/10. Fusion to pole position provisionally. Lennon is next. He's 4/10 up here. Can Lennon improve? Yes, he does. To P4, just behind his teammate Josh. More cars on laps here. The Salaban. That's RPL Savage. He's out there on a lap too. I believe Raleigh is on a lap. Dylan invalidates at the end. He's giving it another go. Wilson's giving it another go as well. We'll have a look at Savage here out of the final corner. He's only found 100th. Improves time, not position. Got a Haas crossing the line. That was Alan J. He improved to a 28.5. That sees him in P6. Just about a 10th away from Lennon. Jack Miles on a lap. Meltz has joined us. He was late to the party, but he is now here. But we're going to have a look at Jack Miles here. Tier 1 champion of last season. Has found time in the first sector. Let's see if he can find any more. In this V-carb of his. On his way to the Singapore Sling. Turn 10. Fourth gear. Get as close to that wall as you can. Making it look easy is Jack Miles. And oh, he hits the wall. He got a little bit too close to that wall that juts out in turn 12. And it's caught him out. That'll do it for Jack on this lap. He is lucky that right front wheel hasn't exploded on him. Very lucky indeed. Alan J is on a lap of his own. Yavas is now joined. That'll be number 18. But let's see what Alan J. He has had himself a very good qualifying session. All the way up in P6. Wilson finds time to go to P7. Still behind the Haas of Alan, though. But here comes Alan J. Through 18 and 19. Using every remaining drop of ERS he has. And he improves to a top 5 position ahead of Lennon. Great stuff from Alan J. making that car look good. Raleigh not on a lap. Maddie's invalidated. And how about Cryptic up to P4? That's what we've been waiting for from him. He hadn't got a lap in the entire session. He's finally got one in now. And he sits ahead of his teammate, Lucas Rasmussen. Cryptic, of course, filling in for Mintoki today. She wasn't able to show up. So that'll be that. Dylan, I believe, is on a lap here, coming through 11 and 12. This time doesn't get too close to the wall like Jack did. Trying to keep it neat and tidy. Nice and easy on the power. Out of turn 13 into 14. He's a measly 8 seconds down. I believe he's probably run out of fuel here. Yeah, I believe he is out of fuel. Oh well. Alan's not on a lap. Cryptic's not on a lap. A few cars on outlaps here. Wilson will come into the pits. Jack's gonna give it another go. So I don't think we'll see any flying laps here in the meantime. Next car to cross the line to start a lap will be Melt70, who just joined us. We'll see if he can get himself into the mix with your Dylan, your JTK, your Jack Miles, all sitting 9th, 10th, and 11th respectively. 18 cars here in the lobby. Off goes Melts. That'll probably invalidate his time. Oh, no, it doesn't. Definitely will cost him a lot of time, though, to start the lap. And he's gone off the road. He's got no end plate. Didn't notice that. So that'll be it for him. Who's next? It's going to be the McLaren of Maxwell. The two McLarens have gone early with 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. Maxwell will get us started for these final runs through turn 1. And he's invalidated. He's exceeded the limits in turn 2. Tried to give it a go. And it's not worked out for Maxwell. Luckily for him, he's got plenty of time to do another run. Jack going for what will most likely be his final qualifying run. Can he keep it valid through turn 2? Yes, he does. Turn 3, the kink of turn 4. Neat and tidy for Jack here in the V-Carb. Trying to use all of the track as he can. Looked as clean as you like. Cryptic has called it a day. He will not be doing another run here in the final part of qualifying. Jack, 1/10 up here in the first sector. Looking good for him, but he's got some traffic ahead in the form of the Red Bull of Wilson and one of the Ferraris as well up ahead. Wilson will let Jack go here into the Singapore Sling. Turn 10. Gets close to that wall, as close as you can. Nice and clean through 11 and 12. He's lost the back end. This time he doesn't hit that wall that enters turn 13. Looking cleaner from Jack. Let's see if he's found any more time in the second sector. He has. He's found 2/10, has Jack Miles. Into the third sector now. Let's see what he is able to do here into this tricky braking zone of 16 and 17. Trying to get himself into the mix here with some of the higher midfield cars. If he can find more time, we could put him up into the top 8. What has he done? It's only a 10.5 improvement. Puts him up to P9, but that'll do it for him. Josh has invalidated his final lap. That'll do it for him. We're going to turn to Laryl Fusion. Currently on provisional pole position, and he is personal best, but look at the traffic ahead of him. This Sauber could get in the way of him. He lets him go. But these cars got to get across the line. It might compromise Fusion here at the very end, but has he found time? No, he's not. He's not found the time he needed to take pole position. Maxwell is 0.5 up. That would be all he needs to take pole position for him. With an invalid lap from Josh, that's going to do it. We got an Alpine coming across the line now. That is savage. He comes across the line, finds 4/10. Improvement for him. Melt7 has depleted his entire battery, but he will get a lap time in. So let's have a look at Laryl Fusion. Nope, we're going to have a look at Maxwell. He's found 2/10. in the second sector. This could be the pole position Maxwell needs. Coming through 16 and 17 now. Can he find the time? He's got a Ferrari ahead of him, but is it gonna be pole position for Maxwell? 2 tenths up. He's done it. He's got another 10th. Maxwell takes pole position away from Lero Fusion. Lennon goes third fastest. Great time for him. Now over to Wilson. He's a 10th up. Can he mix himself in with the front runners? No, he cannot. He stays 8th fastest. Jack coming into the pits. We got some Haas's out there. One of them is Alan J. His teammate Jack MS just ahead of him. JTK goes to the top 10. Great run by him. But here comes Alan J. Jack MS tonight. Alan J to 5th place. What a qualifying effort for him. Dylan finds time as well. And it's just the 2 Saubers. Matty comes in. He's not got a lap in. Here comes Yavas. Can he get himself a decent lap time? He goes to 14th fastest. Respectable effort for him. And that is going to do it. ERM Maxwell on pole position by 3 tenths. Fusion invalidated his final run. That was going to do it for him. McLaren 1-2. Ferrari 3-4. And give it up to Alan J. P5 for Haas on a 128.2. Great stuff there. So, that's it for qualifying. Maxwell on pole position. Fusion second, completing the McLaren 1-2. Ferrari 3-4 with Lennon and Josh. Alan J, great run to be a P5. Mercedes 6-7 with Cryptic and Rasmussen. Wilson P8, Dylan P9. And Jack MS rounding out the top 10. JTK, Jack Miles, Savage, Yavas, Raleigh, Meltz, Penguin on a quali ban, and Matty was not able to set a valid lap time. So we will head to the race. 31 laps will decide the winner of the Singapore Grand Prix, the longest race of the season, as it almost always is, especially if it's wet. In a wet race, you would very much expect to see this race go over an hour, but looks dry to me. So we'll have a look at the tire selections, see what everybody decides. Whether it's a medium or a hard, we do not expect to see the soft tires at all throughout the duration of this event. And, ooh boy, got a screenshot from Matty. There is a chance of rain at the very end of this race. We'll find out if that makes an impact in 5 lights time. It's time to bring the action. It's away we go. Even Stevens from the 2 McLarens up front, but it's Maxwell with the better getaway. Into turn 1 we go. Contact between Cryptic and one of the Ferraris. Side by side, 2 by 2, through the first couple corners. Allen holds on to P5 ahead of the 2 Mercedes, and then behind them, if you got Dylan going down the inside of Jack MS, that's going to put him under pressure. Alan J loses a spot to Cryptic. The 2 McLarens lead 1-2, Ferrari 3-4, Cryptic up to 5th, Alan J down to 6th, side by side between the Alpines, and Dylan spun round. That'll do it for him. Side by side, continuing through the back of the field. A little bit of contact made between Jack and JTK. These 2 have gone at it before in Tier 1. They're going at it in Tier 2. And it looks like JTK gets the better of Jack this time around. But McLaren getting the best start they need. Ferrari keeping it 3 and 4. Cryptic moved up to 5th. Alan J lost a spot. Lucas Rasmussen remains in P7. Wilson, Jack, and Savage rounding out the top 10. 2 Ferraris swap positions. That's now Josh ahead of Lennon. Josh will try to get his way towards those McLaren pair drivers, but with how good that car is, do we really expect to see them be battled with for the lead like we did last time out in Spain? No moves being made at the back of the field, so we'll go back to the front. Maxwell leading the opening laps here in Singapore. A move made for the last place spot. That is Dylan on Meltz. The 2 McLarens already have a 1.3 second advantage over Josh 433's Ferrari. As we go on board with Alan J. See if he can chase down Cryptic's Mercedes, but he's also got Rasmussen directly behind him. Rasmussen's closer than Alan is to Cryptic. JTK and Jack Miles. Something's happened to Jack. He's lost a couple spots. JTK up to 10. Jack all the way down to 13th now. Torn Penguin, who started dead last, already up to P12 through 2 laps of this race. Not even 2 laps. A lap and a sector, and Penguin has gone from P17 to P12. Good start for the man who had a quali ban. Lucas Rasmussen is going to look to get by Alan here as quick as he can. Some deep braking there. That can compromise him with Wilson, but he'll keep the traction and he'll stay ahead. Crash of the back. That's Melt 7. He's gone off in turn 12. Not what he would have wanted to start this race. But a bit of a DRS train here, starting with Lennon leading this train and going all the way back to Jack Miles in P13. Of course, we'll expect this train to break up at some point in this race. Fusion, fastest lap of the race for McLaren. There's your race strategies. Hard, medium. And speaking of the tires, we'll have a look and see what everybody selected. Mostly mediums for the field, with a couple on hards. One of those being Torn Penguin, who has just overtaken Savage for P11. Another place gained for him, and that is his 6th spot. And we got a battle for the lead here. Fusion and Maxwell. Fusion goes past him for the lead of the race. Fusion takes the lead, the championship leader, trying to keep his great run going. He's ahead of Maxwell, who is still looking for that first Tier 2 win this season and of his career. Behind these guys, it's still kicking off between the Lennon DRS train and the cars behind him. Alan J is now right on the back of Cryptic. Alan is also one of the guys who selected the hard tire for this race to start on. The likes of JTK as well, also running very close to other opponents. JTK trying to get himself up to P9 in his return to RPL. And we also have Wilson in P8. Red Bull haven't had the best day. We could have a battle here. Rasmussen has also had a moment. He's down to P10. Lennon and Cryptic going wheel to wheel. Lennon barely keeps the place, and he stays ahead of the Mercedes driver. Fusion, fastest lap of the race again. He's 3/10 ahead of his teammate. Josh trying to stay with them. Lennon's fallen 3 seconds back on his teammate as he tries to hold off TSR Cryptic for P4 of this race. Cryptic loses the back end through turn 3. That'll cost him a little bit of time. Cryptic now with the DRS, trying to get close, gaining all the time, but he's not gaining enough. And look how close Maxwell is. Lucas Rasmussen has had another moment. He's down to P13. He might be having some screen freeze issues. We've seen that before from other drivers, not from him. Jack and Savage going wheel to wheel for P11. Jack getting the better of the Salaban for P11 now. Lucas Rasmussen, after losing many places, looking to get by these midfield cars, can't get it done. Have a look at this from Jack MS. He's looking on the back of Wilson. Down the inside he goes. Helicopter cam as we watch Wilson get the better of him. Raleigh's crashed out of turn 12. And Wilson remains in P7 for the time being. Jack using a whole ton of his ERS, and he's got very little left to use on the cars ahead of him as they continue in this big DRS train, which Jack Miles has just fallen out of. He's 1.1 seconds, well now 1.2, behind Torn Penguin, who's already worked his way into a points-paying position. Could see a potential battle here with Rasmussen and Savage. They all sit behind Jack Miles. But look how big this train is. As Cryptic still trying to find a way to go past. Have a look at Torn Penguin. He tried to have a go. Lucas Rasmussen overtook, and no, he hasn't. He's screen frozen again. He is now behind Yavas for P14. The screen freezes are destroying Lucas Rasmussen's race. You absolutely hate to see it. A screen freeze is the last thing I would wish on anybody, but look how close Alan is to Cryptic for turn 12. As he still is trying to get back into P5, which was where he started. And we got a battle here. That is Jack MS and JTK. JTK trying to go around the outside. A little bit of contact made, but Jack MS will hold the place, and that has now dropped him out of DRS range of Wilson. All line and stern behind them. Torn Penguin trying to get past JTK for his position. That would be P9 for him. Rasmussen gets by Yavas as he tries to come back from the screen freezes. No DRS for Jack MS. This could put him under pressure. Talk about under pressure. Have a look at Torn Penguin trying to go down the inside of JTK. That was never going to happen. Alan J now with a penalty. And have a look at Torn Penguin. He is trying his best to get by JTK here. But the Williams driver holding his own in his return to RPL. Alan J now fresh with a penalty, trying to get by Cryptic. Can't get it done. JTK, though, has got the job done on Jack MS. He is through to P8. Now Torn Penguin's got to get by the Haas driver, get himself into 9th. Penguin stalled out here these last couple laps. He's just been stuck in this DRS train that he simply can't get out of. Yavas and Dylan have gone wheel to wheel, and Yavas got the better of him there. But Alan J, very close to Cryptic in this part of the track specifically, in first gear through turn 13. As they make their way to the Sector 2 split and turn 14. Look, Alan's just trying to do something to get the move done. But, of course, Cryptic with the DRS. And look how close Cryptic is to Lennon. He tries to have a go. Lennon, with the defense, keeps him at bay. And we've had a moment. Literal Fusion has just lost the lead of this race. He has spun out of the final corner. And all of a sudden, Maxwell now leads this Grand Prix. I saw a yellow flag coming out of the final corner, and Fusion had lost the lead of the race. He is now a fair bit back. How about Torn Penguin? Trying to get by Jack MS here. Side by side out of turn 3. The hard tires on Penguin probably becoming the better race tire at this point. Side by side. Contact made into the DRS zone. It's Torn Penguin who gets the DRS. Jack MS is now completely vulnerable. Through goes Jack Miles. Bump drifting Torn Penguin through the DRS straight, and it's Penguin that gets ahead. Jack Miles also making his way through on the Haas driver, Jack MS, and Jack Miles still almost going wheel to wheel through turn 8. Turns 8 and 9, these guys getting very scrappy, but Penguin is through on both of them. He is now up to P9 as he tries to chase down JTK for 8th. Meanwhile, we have Alan J still fighting in the middle of this midfield pack. Cryptic still trying to pass Lennon too. But the Mercedes straight line speed proving to be detrimental to his race, as Lennon using the speed of that Ferrari, and also Lennon clearly saving fuel because he backed off so early on that straight. But have a look at Josh 433 right on the back of Literal Fusion for second place in this Grand Prix. We could be seeing a potential move for second place here, as Josh has the better ERS over Laryl Fusion. 45% to Fusion's around 14. He's going to use a lot of this overtake. Blinking his Fusion. Does Josh go for the move here? He could have if he used more battery, but he elects to stay behind the McLaren driver for the time being. He'll stay in third place. Behind. No real moves being made here in this DRS train. Fusion is now 2.3 seconds behind Maxwell. Make that 2.2. But this DRS train continues, and Fusion continuing to try to hold off Josh 433. And now Fusion, 33% battery to the 62 of Josh. Gap now 1.9 seconds. Fusion is gaining on Maxwell again. This could become a 3-car fight for the lead of this race. Josh doing everything he can to stay with these incredibly fast rocket ships, and he's done a great job today. Of course, benefiting from Fusion's DRS after he had some sort of error or spin out of the final corner. But back to this midfield, this upper, not even midfield, but this fight for P4 continuing with Lennon holding up the train. Now 8 seconds behind Laryl Fusion in the McLaren, or 8 seconds behind Josh. He's behind both of them at the moment. Josh 7/10, 6/10 back on Fusion, but he's a little bit too far away at the end of the DRS straight. He will not be making that move. Yellow flag, that is, I believe that is Raleigh. He has had a spin coming through the final couple corners, but still no moves made. We got Savage trying to get past Jack MS here, the Caliban. Currently runs P12. Been a respectable day here from the Alpine driver, who is reserving. He had to serve a race ban from Tier 3 last time out in Silverstone, so unfortunately he missed that. But this is now one big DRS train once more. Torn Penguin got everybody back into this train with him and Jack. Or Jack Miles, to say, because we got 2 Jacks, 10th and 11th. It could get very confusing very quickly. But it's Jack Miles at the end of this DRS train, which goes from P4 all the way to P10. As Lennon now 10 seconds behind, but he's finally back in the green in terms of fuel. He is no longer having to do constant fuel save. No, he is still very much saving fuel. He lifted well before the corner, as he just tries to hold on to that 4th place. But he's doing a good job against Cryptic and against Alan J, who is the only car in the entire field without a penalty, as Josh 433 is still very close as Dylan passes Melts at the back of the field. Dylan's already pitted, by the way. He pitted for a set of hard tires 2 laps ago. And Raleigh has spun out of the final corner. He's got no fuel, and now he's got Dylan for company, as these guys make their way into the Singapore Sling, turn 10, and turn 11 and turn 12 here. Lennon still holding his own here. Penguin now running right on the back of AMS JTK, trying to get through, to get himself up in the P8. It's been a good drive from him. Dylan gets past Raleigh for 16th. As JTK has caught the back of the train, but on those hard tires he'll have to wait a little while to make his pit stop. Josh 433 gets a penalty. He's gotten a penalty, which will almost certainly take him out of contention for the win. And now he'll have to settle for a current P3, what it would be, because he has an 11-second gap to his teammate, who is still fuel saving. as Lennon fuel saves his way to an 11-second gap. Lucas Rasmussen comes into the pits. He has had himself a bad day, but he'll make his pit stop onto hard tires. As Cryptic still can't find a way to get past Lennon here. 11.5 seconds, the gap between P3 and P4. That gap continuing to rise with every corner, it feels like. How about that from Alan J? He thought of a move into the sling, but he knows that is a very risky place. This is where Cookie ended up having a crash, which forced him to retire from the race last week in Tier 1. Nobody will want to do that. Torn Penguin has a bit of a run on JTK, though. Could see a move here for P8. He's going to go around the outside of JTK. He's had a slide. He's tagged the wall. He's pushed almost off the track, is Torn Penguin. JTK trying to defend as best as he can. To the inside now. Here comes Torn Penguin. Barging wheels. Off the road goes JTK. He keeps the place, but for how long? Here comes Torn Penguin. He is through on the Williams driver. That got very argy-bargy, but through goes Penguin. He's ahead of the Williams. Multiple pit stops being made as well. Wilson pitted, Maxwell pitted as well. And we have a crash again. Meltz has gone off in turn 12. And he is just stuck in the wall here. I beg that he isn't trying to get a safety car here, because that would be completely detrimental to everybody's day. But Fusion currently holds the lead of this race after teammate Maxwell made his pit stop onto a set of hard tires, which can go very long into this race. Tire wear isn't too bad. Meltz has crashed again. But Cryptic, 6/10 behind Lennon. Allen, 3/10 back. Torn Penguin gets back into DRS after battling JTK very hard. And Meltz gets a 3-second penalty. He's going to go a lap down here in a bit. And we might see him retire from the session. Matty now into the penalty box of his own with a 3-second time penalty. Josh and Fusion go wheel to wheel. Nope, it is Fusion entering the pits. Josh stays out. He'll take the lead. Look how close Alan J is to these guys. But into the pits comes Lennon, which finally releases Cryptic and Alan and everybody behind. They've finally been released from Lennon, who's going to try and get himself a little bit of an undercut on those hard tires. Jack has pitted. Both Jacks have pitted. Maxwell ahead of Laurel Fusion by quite a bit, as Savage immediately lets the McLaren go. Could we see a potential move here from Alan J on Cryptic? He is gaining all the time, but not gaining quite enough. He'll have to wait before he can make another move. He'll have to get a little bit closer next time. Lucas Rasmussen, by the way, he has an undercut on a lot of these drivers. He's managed to work himself back to a 2-second gap between himself and Lennon. Of course, Lennon's probably still doing his fuel-saving tactics, so there's a chance for Lucas Rasmussen to get back into this train. Ooh, losing traction there was Alan J. coming out of turn 13 as he chases down Cryptic. These two haven't been separated by anything throughout the day because they've been stuck behind Lennon the entire time. Into the pits comes Josh. We'll soon see Cryptic come into the pits. Of course, he's on very old medium tires. Surely we'll see him come into the pit soon. Yep, we're going to see him pit now, which means Alan J for Haas leads the Singapore Grand Prix now. Now it's official. Alan leads. Torn Penguin now in second place. He is also yet to stop. But now, Maxwell almost has a full pit stop advantage over these guys. Out comes Josh. Fusion gets ahead of him. Wilson coming through now. He's going to come out ahead of Cryptic, ahead of JTK. Lennon will come out ahead of these guys as well. Lucas Rasmussen is also going to jump Cryptic too. That just shows the power of that undercut. Rasmussen now in 9th place. Lennon's 8th. Wilson's 7th. Josh in P6 with a 10-second gap. Absolutely crazy. JTK P11. Jack Miles, who is boxed for medium compound tires, runs 12th. Fusion and Savage. Savage letting Fusion go, expectedly. But I'm sure he'll try to be a bit of a nuisance to Josh here. Josh will probably have a go here into turn 13. It's a ballsy move to go for an overtake, but Josh gets it done. Great move from Josh to make sure he doesn't lose too much time from Fusion. He needed to get that move done as quickly as possible, and that is exactly what he did. Meanwhile, Torn Penguin made the move on Alan J for the lead of the race, which means Torn Penguin, at least temporarily, has gone from last to first, but he'll come into the pits and, ooh, he's a bit close with the white line on the pit entry. Hopefully he won't get done for crossing the line. But Maxwell goes through on Alan J to take the lead back. Maxwell leads, Alan second, Fusion third. And once again, Savage staying out on those medium compound tires. 14 laps done on that set, which is absolutely absurd. Penguin will lose quite a bit of time here with his overcutting strategy, but he had to because he was on the hard tires. But he'll come out going wheel to wheel with JTK. These two have gone wheel to wheel plenty before in this race. It got a bit dicey with them before. Will it get dicey with them again? Alan J, by the way, took the lead back from Maxwell. Would love to know how he pulled that off as they go wheel to wheel. But we gotta go back to Torn Penguin and JTK because they go side by side into turn 6. They've made contact again as JTK and Torn Penguin. But JTK stays ahead of the Red Bull driver. It's been getting so argy-bargy between these two. And you have to think it might be coming to a head soon. Side by side, JTK decides to let Penguin through, which means Penguin is now finally released from the Williams. He's got 5 seconds, 4.6 between himself and Cryptic. Jack Miles now trying to get the move done on JTK. He's on mediums, JTK's on hards. But JTK a little bit ahead, too far ahead for that matter, as Alan J finally makes his pit stop. Maxwell with a 3.2 second lead over Lyral Fusion. Josh trying to stay close to these guys as well. Finally, the Salaban comes into the pits on those age-old medium tires. And he's going to pit for another set of mediums. So that'll force him on a 2-stop strategy. I'm sure that's probably not what he would have wanted to do, but that's what his strategy is now, nonetheless. The two Mercedes are running close to each other. We got Cryptic, we got Rasmussen. And through goes Cryptic up to P6. Cryptic P6 now on the road. JTK still half a second away from Torn Penguin. Penguin's got a ways to go on those medium tires, but I'm sure he can do it. Alan J also boxed for a set of mediums, but he's got a lot of cars to overtake now. He was running as high as 5th, 6th place today. He was stuck in that DRS train with Lennon and Cryptic. Cryptic also, by the way, 1.2 seconds away from Lennon. Trying to get back into DRS range. Pit stop cycle really spread the field out after everything was said and done. But Cryptic trying to get himself back into this fight for 5th place. Wilson took advantage of the undercut, and he now runs P4. But 13 seconds back, Alan J gets past his teammate Jack MS. Most likely, Jack let Alan through there. So, that'll be that fight. Torn Penguin, fastest lap of the race with a 31.7. Of course, on those fresh medium tires, he's going to try and chase down both Mercs. He's been on a good drive so far, up to P8 from last place. We've only seen one DNF so far today. Melts retired from the pits early on. They'll probably get a penalty for that if somebody clips it. I'm not going to do it because I don't care enough. And I just saw that in the background. Lucas Rasmussen had another screen freeze, which now takes him out of DRS range of his teammate Cryptic. This could really put him in jeopardy here, as Torn Penguin is fast approaching on those medium tires. And he's... Ooh, another screen freeze from Rasmussen. It's getting worse and worse for him. I know it's not lag from Lucas Rasmussen. If it was lag, he'd be teleporting completely differently. He's not even teleporting at all. He just teleports back, just like that. As Rasmussen, the screen freezes have now caused Torn Penguin to overtake him for P7. It's just getting from bad to worse for him. Jack Miles and Alan J wheel to wheel. Alan J on the outside. Jack Miles on the inside. And it's going to be Alan J going through. And now we have a virtual safety car because Matty has crashed out in turn 13. Most likely he hit that curb. He hit that inside wall that juts out in turn 13. Matty now out of the race. Jack Miles will pit during this VSC period. Pits for a set of hard tires. Dylan pits too, but it's just a VSC. We won't see a full safety car here. Fusion has also brought the gap to the lead down to about 2 seconds. He's done a great job trying to get himself back into the mix to win this race up against his teammate Maxwell. This might finally be the day for Axel. I don't want to jinx him, but it's looking good for him. Nobody gets drive-thrus on that VSC. Green flag back in the air as Fusion tries to stay away from Josh 433 despite his track limit penalty. Behind them, Cryptic's caught Lennon for P5 now. Cryptic running very close to Lennon here. Lennon 2.5 seconds away from Wilson, who got the undercut on all these guys. Now runs P4, 15 seconds back on Josh 433. Have a look at Cryptic, gaining all the time, using the ERS to the outside of turn 15, or turn 16. They bang wheels, and Cryptic, has he got the move done? Inside of the final 2 corners! Contact made! Around goes Lennon! Lennon spins round! Cryptic put his wheels in a place where you maybe shouldn't be putting them. He has tagged Lennon, who spun round in the final corner. He's had such a good day, and it's now gone to waste for him. It's down to 7th. Still a chance to recover, but Cryptic, in my opinion, he's done a bit of a naughty there. Cannot do that. Sticking your nose in a part of the track you really shouldn't be doing it. That is a really risky move that I figure just shouldn't be done. Just wait for turn 1 or something. I don't think that was the right overtake, in my opinion. Lennon and Rasmussen is also screen froze again, but he stays ahead of JTK. Lennon still P7. Alan J trying to get past JTK now. He's still on those medium tires, trying to get himself into higher points paying positions. He's fought back to P10, but he's got more work to do. Here comes Alan. Tried to go for a move around the outside of turn 16, but it wasn't going to happen. That's 15, my bad. Alan J now to the outside. It's going to become the inside for 16 and 17. Rasmussen thought of a move. JTK holding the outside becomes the inside. Can he get the move? Here, what a move by Alan J. He got past him in the final corner. Great move from the Haas driver. Now all he has to do is wait for Rasmussen to screen freeze and it'll be P8. A good day for him so far. Cryptic though, now under pressure from Torn Penguin. Both of them using a lot of their ERS here. Penguin getting the overspeed, gaining all the time to the inside of turn 6, and Penguin contact with Cryptic. Contact made. They'll still go wheel to wheel through the tight middle sector. Cryptic still barely staying ahead. There's the screen freeze from Lucas Rasmussen. That's not a screen freeze. He's crashed. He's crashed in turn 8. It's been a really bad day from Lucas Rasmussen, and it's got worse for him. Oh, I absolutely feel for him. Also, we now have a battle for the lead up front. Maxwell, Fusion, and Josh, 1, 2, and 3 on the road. We've barely even talked about the front runners today, because they've all just been running their own race. But Fusion trying to take the lead back after making a mistake early on. Back to this, though. Lennon and Alan J. Lennon, he's been playing defense this entire race. He's got to play defense against the Academy teammate now. Alan trying to get up to P7 now. That would be a great day for him if he could pull this off. Of course, he was running P6 before the pit stop cycle. I'm sure he would like to run a little bit better, but still a good day for him nonetheless. Rasmussen will now come into the pits. But we watch the top 3, and Lucas Rasmussen retires from the pit lane. That'll do it for him, and that's going to do it for Maxwell. He gets a penalty, and these two going wheel to wheel again. Around goes toward Penguin. They've been banging wheels the entire time. So much just happened in a span of 10 seconds. Cryptic got together with Torn Penguin. Penguin's crashed. He's got half a wing now. And at the same exact time, all 3 of the top 3 drivers have 3-second penalties. This is a race for the win now. All 3 of them are now racing on the same piece of tarmac with no penalties in hand. This is game on for the last 10 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix. What has happened on lap 21 of this race? Both McLaren's track limit penalties. Cryptic and Torn Penguin crash in turn 6. Absolute calamity, as have a look at Alan J. Still looking for the overtake that would put him in P6 ahead of Lennon. And it could even potentially be a P5 for him if Cryptic potentially gets any penalties. And speaking of Cryptic, he is now on the back of Wilson. Torn Penguin also getting himself a 3-second penalty. Just to add insult to injury, he's going to have to make a pit stop here. He had basically no wing. I think he's staying out there, though. He's going to try and finish this race with half a car. But it is now exactly game on at the front. 1, 2, 3. Maxwell, Fusion, Josh. Going for the win. 22 seconds, by the way. The gap between P3 and P4. These 3 drivers have just been in a league of their own today. It's been incredible to see. And what's also incredible is how close Alan J is to getting this move on Lennon. I'm sure Lennon was banking on some form of safety car to help him with the fuel situation, but it's just not happened for him today, as all we've seen is just a single VSC. Alan still incredibly close to Lennon. He's trying to get the move done. This move could help him try to chase down Cryptic for P5 on the road. Alan gaining all the time, but not gaining enough. And now he's got JTK in the wings. He has got to clear Alan and pull a 3-second gap if he wants to hold on to a top 6 finish. But he's running out of laps to do it. Have a look at this from Lero Fusion. Running close to Maxwell. The 2 McLarens, wheel to wheel. Contact made. The 2 McLarens hit. They've banged wheels. And Maxwell stays ahead. Maxwell's barely in it. Penguin's retired from the pit lane. And almost, the papaya rules have almost costed these 2. Maxwell and Fusion. Tensions about to boil over in the papaya, but Maxwell still stays in the lead of this race. Incredible scenes here on lap 23. Less than 10 laps to go now. And it's anybody's fight here up front. These guys have just been giving it absolutely everything. Maxwell, he had the lead for so much time, but now he's lost the 3-second buffer he had earlier, which means Fusion's in it, Josh is in it. Josh almost trying to get past Fusion there. He had a look in turn 16, or turn 17, I'm sorry. But these three have been going wheel to wheel so much throughout this race. And Maddie thinks Fusion got a triple warning. We're going to check that real fast. And that penalty plus 3 warnings, I think pretty much confirms it. Fusion will most likely get his penalties removed here, which means he is winning this race off the penalties. But with how hard they've been fighting, the potential for a crash is entirely possible. And my eyes might be deceiving me, but I think I'm starting to see the first drops of rain that were hinted at the start of this race. It is raining here on lap 24. This race just got even more complicated. Down the inside goes TSR Cryptic on Wilson. Contact made. Cryptic's tried that move multiple times throughout the day, and this time it hasn't worked out for him. Wilson stays in 4th place. Alan J still behind Lennon for 6th, which means JTK will most likely get him off penalties. Jack MS all by his lonesome in P9, and give it up to RPL Savage, who still runs in the points at the moment, but his track limit penalty is going to mean Jack Miles will take that away from him. Into the pits comes Raleigh. He'll go a lap down now against Maxwell, Fusion, and Josh. Rain falling here on lap 25. Do any of these guys play the incredibly risky decision of boxing for intermediate tires? Will it even rain hard enough for inters? Raleigh's going to be our guinea pig here. Of course, he's a lap down anyway, but we'll see what his gap is as opposed to Yava's. We'll see if it works. But here comes Fusion, gaining all the time to the outside now, into turn 7. This time, both McLarens go off the road. Josh trying to go past Fusion now. Tries to hang it around the outside. It's not going to happen for him. Raleigh, I believe, has also spun out immediately on his intermediate tires. That just tells you. Fusion, most likely, though, still leading this race after getting a triple warning. Could be yet another victory for Fusion in the steward's room. We'll see if he got a triple warning. Of course, you never know. He could have just gotten a million warnings in one lap. It's entirely plausible, but unrealistic. But Fusion still in DRS range. The rain starting to fall a little bit harder now here on lap 25. We're going to have 6 laps to go this time by. 6 to go as Maxwell tries to hold the lead of this race. Jack Miles and Savage go wheel to wheel. Jack goes through. Savage drops to P11. Allen still trying to chase down and overtake Lennon. Cryptic still trying to overtake Wilson, who's on some of the oldest tires on the field of anybody. But Maxwell still holding his own at the lead of this race. You never know. He might win this. There's always the chance he wins this race. You cannot count it out. But they all stay line and stern this time. JTK has come into the pits. Raleigh gets a penalty for warnings. Jack MS pits as well. Could we be seeing intermediates here? Yes, it's intermediates. These guys are pitting for inters. With 6 laps to go, intermediates are going on. Jack Miles goes through. He's staying on slicks. Jack MS, JTK, and now Savage pitting for intermediate tires. More cars electing to say that it's too wet out there for slicks. They pit. Remember, any of these top 3 guys have a free pit stop over Wilson. They can box for a set of inters whenever they please. But I think the real kicker is, will JTK be gaining a lot on Jack Miles on the inters? Gap is 11.5 seconds. We'll see if it goes down momentarily. But Maxwell still holding this lead by 7/10 over teammate Fusion. And we got a pit stop. Pit stop's made. Maxwell pits for inters. Maxwell's in for inters, as is Josh. They both box for the intermediate tires. They're making the decision to go to inters here with 5 laps to go in this race. Now, what do you do if you're Fusion? Do you stay out on the slicks, or do you risk it all for the intermediates with the potential of getting undercut? It is all in the hands of Fusion now. Wilson pits as well. Cryptic's pitted. Lennon stays out here. He now moves up into 4th place on the slick tires. Jack Miles, let's see what he does. Gap now 10 seconds to JTK. The intermediates looking like the better tire now. Alan J, intermediates for him. Everybody making the call at the very end to go to intermediate tires. Lennon has toughed it out and also has Jack Miles. He's tried, but he's going to pit for a pit. He's pit for a set of inters. That'll bring Jack MS up in the P9. But now, Laro Fusion, 24 seconds between him and teammate Maxwell. Maxwell most likely will go through. Remember, these are the conditions that gave Josh the lead in Spain last week. It was that dry to wet transition, and he took the most advantage of it. You can see some of that standing water through turns 11 and 12. Clearly, it is time for the intermediate tires. What does Fusion do here with 5 laps to go? Does he pit? Yes, he does. Into the pits comes Laro Fusion from the lead of this race. But remember, can't speed, doesn't speed. He is going to lose some time here. Maxwell should take the lead, but have a look at Josh down the inside. This is the battle for the lead of this race. Josh to the outside, Maxwell on the inside. Maxwell holds the lead. This battling could also cost them the lead of this race, by the way. Fusion with a potential triple warning lingering over him. If these guys battle too much, they could fall out of the 3-second range, and that'll do it for Josh. He turned in too early for turn 1. That's a 6-second penalty for him. Game over for Josh 433. Lennon stays out on the slicks for another lap. He's going to try and tough it out on those hard tires. 5 seconds the gap between Josh and Fusion. This has really caught him out. And now with a 6-second penalty, Josh is pretty much out of this race unless Maxwell gets a 6 of his own. Fusion will most likely get his penalties removed. Oof, boy. Josh almost drifting his way through turn 9, heading into the Singapore Sling. JTK and Alan J also P7, P8. Jack MS also only 3 seconds back. This race has been absolutely turned on its head here at the end of this race. I believe DRS is still enabled, by the way. And as I say that, DRS is now disabled, which means the track is too wet, and Lennon still on those slick tires is going to lose so much time. There is no way he is going to be able to hold on for these last few laps. Josh using all of his remaining battery to try to pass Maxwell, but he can't get it done. So long as Fusion doesn't get within 3 seconds of ERM Maxwell, Maxwell will have the win, and his first win of Tier 2, both of this season and of his career. 5 seconds between Josh and Fusion now. It got so argy-bargy between the two McLarens early on. Luckily, it did not end in tears, but I think this strategic decision from Lennon is going to end in tears for him, because Wilson is catching him by a absolutely heaping margin now. Savage gets another penalty for his troubles, which that'll pretty much confirm, unless we have another DNF, he will not be scoring points. But 11th place, still nothing to scoff about for him. Not a bad day. Josh and Maxwell, 4/10 between them. We've been eyeing these two for so long now throughout this race. Of course, with the rain falling harder and harder, that means Lennon is definitely going to be losing that 4th place to Wilson, to Cryptic, to maybe even JTK. If he keeps it up, though, he should still score some points here. Gap now 4.8 seconds, 4.6. It's falling so fast for Lennon. But Josh, still trying to get himself into the net lead of this race. Who knows, maybe he's faster than Maxwell, and if he could pull a second on Fusion, he could win the race despite 6 seconds of penalties. Considering that Fusion gets his 3-second removed for a triple warning, and through goes Wilson on Lennon. The strategy hasn't worked for Lennon. He's going to lose P4, and he's probably going to lose P5 here as well on Cryptic. No grip on those slick tires. And he almost spins out, and now he pits. It's no longer worth it. He is pitted. That is so unfortunate for Lennon. He will fall out of the points, most likely, to Jack Miles. We'll see where he comes out. He'll come out behind Jack, but I think he might just stay. I think he'll stay in P10, though. At least he should. Still 5.1 seconds between Josh and Fusion with 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. These two. 3 seconds, 6 seconds, down the inside goes Josh. He's going to lose so much time from this. This could help Fusion a lot. Every time they battle, every time they have a glimpse of a moment, Fusion gets closer to Maxwell. Gap to leader, 5.2 seconds. Fusion needs these two to battle to the death if he is to win this race off of his teammate. Fusion should be able to take P2 away from Josh if he gets his penalty removed. Maxwell, though, has had a great day for him. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Singapore Airlines. He's 1 lap away from finally breaking the curse, and finally winning in the 2nd tier. He has tried so hard, has Maxwell, to finally finish a race out. It's just been depression after depression for him. Whether it be his own bottle job or something else. But he's only 2 sectors away from a victory. All he has to do is not lose 1.3 seconds over Fusion, and also not get a penalty of his own. So close to the end now. JTK and Alan J still very close to each other. 9/10 between 2 of them. But of course, Alan J with a penalty will pretty much mean he won't be taking that position. Maxwell getting closer. Now through turn 13. That's where Maddie crashed out earlier in this race. He keeps it clean, though, and it's hard to see him losing this gap now. Maxwell, he has had a very clean race of his own. Defended his teammate beautifully. Fusion made a mistake in the final corner earlier on, which gifted the lead to Maxwell, and he has not wanted to give it back since. Great defense, a little argy-bargy with his teammate, and some masterclass against Josh. He's finally gonna break the curse, is ERM Maxwell. He rounds the final corner. He won here in Tier 1. He wins here in Tier 2. Maxwell breaks the curse to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Josh finishes in 2nd place. Fusion locks out the podium. And Maxwell can finally say he's a Tier 2 winner. After all this time, he finally closes the deal. Wilson, a very respectable P4 for him. Great effort there. Cryptic 5th. And welcome back to RPL JTK with a very respectable P6 result for him. Alan J, a great day to finish in 7th. Jack MS 8th. Jack Miles will finish P9. And I'm sure Savage will celebrate this for the 2 seconds while it lasts. He'll finish P10 on track, but he will lose it off of his track limit penalties. P10 for him on the road. Lennon will take it back away. Great day for Savage. Heartbreak for Lennon after the decision to stay out. The decision did not work, unfortunately for him. Dylan 12th, Yavas 13th, Raleigh 14th. And that will do it today. Maxwell finally takes the win. If memory serves me right, his last Tier 1 win is also at this very track. It is only fitting that he goes back to winning ways at the track where he last won. Maxwell wins for McLaren. Finally. Finally. Race winner, Maxwell. Penguin fastest lap. Most overtakes is the Salaban. Lennon, cleanest driver. There's no driver of the day on here for some reason, but whatever. Here's your final race results. Maxwell wins. Josh 2nd. Fusion 3rd. Wilson 4th. Cryptic 5th. JTK P6. Alan J P7. Jack P8. Other Jack P9. Lennon rounding out the points in P10. And we had 4 DNFs today. Torn Penguin, Lucas Rasmussen, Maddie, and Melt7 all retiring from this race. 50 minutes. It's been a long one, but I'm glad you are all here to witness ERN Maxwell finally return to the top step of the podium. It's been a long time coming for the McLaren driver, and I'm glad he finally got it done. Fastest lap went to Torn Penguin. He scored the fastest lap of the race. Of course, no point for it, and he didn't finish anyway. But driver of the day, I have 2 or 3 options. I have JTK for his great result today, for his return to RPL, and a very respectable P6 for him. Maxwell for finally ending the little curse of his to get his first win in Tier 2. And also Josh, just for the fact that he never dropped out of that top battle with the 2 McLarens. It takes a seriously quick driver to keep up with those rocket ships. Those are my 3 recommendations, but I think for breaking the curse, I'm going to give it to Maxwell. He absolutely deserves this one. Finally went a race mistake-free, made no really big errors of his own, and it's a well-earned win for him. Absolutely deserved. And for all of you, make sure you join us for next week's Tier 2 race, which sees the Tier 2 grid take to, I'm pulling it up, Shanghai. They go to Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. Make sure you join us that. Of course, the Tier 2 did not race in China last season, so this will be the first China race of Tier 2's game cycle. That'll be for them. Tier 1 tomorrow takes to the USA at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, for the US Grand Prix. Definitely don't want to miss that. There's a lot on the line there, and a lot of very quick drivers looking to make a name for themselves in Texas. Make sure you join us for Tier 1 and Tier 2 next week. Tier 3 on Thursday. Next week also goes to Monaco. You, of course, would never want to miss a Monaco Grand Prix. But make sure you join us for tomorrow's stream. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute banger. Titan will be streaming it as per. But thank you all for joining us today and witnessing an absolutely fantastic Singapore Grand Prix. I'm BeatNix714 signing off, saying thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you for tomorrow's stream.